Multiple civil liberties groups plan to file suit over a new law that makes Louisiana the first state in the country to require the display of the Ten Commandments in every public school classroom. The governor signed the new law today. It requires a poster-sized display in all public classrooms from kindergarten to state-funded universities by the beginning of next year. The posters would be paid for through donations. Supporters argue the measure is not solely religious, but also has historical significance, describing the commandments as, quote, foundational documents of our state and national government. And in a joint statement, the Americans United for Separation of Church and State, the American Civil Liberties Union, and the American Civil Liberties Union of Louisiana called the law, quote, blatantly unconstitutional and a violation of the separation of church and state.